Hello, my name is Evelyn Arquette and I've decided to start a Booktube channel. My channel is going to be called Worlds Away because that's my favorite thing about books, how they take me to different worlds. Worlds away. I thought it was cool. Also, that's the name I came up with years ago when I was daydreaming about owning my own bookstore. So, yeah. I want to start a book channel because it seems like it will be a lot of fun. I love books. I read in massive amounts. I love everything associated with books pretty much. And I feel like this will be a lot of fun for me. I feel like it will be a good hobby. And I think I'll learn stuff from having a YouTube channel as well. But this is just gonna be a lot of fun. I'll get to talk about books a lot. Like just go on for half an hour about how much I like books. So that's gonna be a lot of fun for me. I feel like something fun and unique that I bring is just me. Everyone's unique. I'm fun and unique in my own way. I also feel like I will be bringing just a lot more volume. I'm one of those people who's like reads a book every day, so that's a lot of volume that I'll be bringing. And then also I'm gonna be focusing on like clean fantasy, clean romance, Christian fiction, historical fiction. Fantasy is the main genre that I am going to be going over, but I will also go into others as well. For me, I'm just most excited about sharing how much I love books with everyone else. And then this seems like it's going to be just like a really fun thing to do, to become part of the Booktube community and share how much I love books with everyone and just talk about books all day long for absolutely no reason other than I want to. And I don't need an excuse to read more books. I read all the time anyway, but it is one. That's what I'm most excited about. How much fun this is going to be for me. I think this is going to be a wonderful new hobby, and hopefully this hobby will never end. Why do I love reading? Well, like I said, my channel is going to be called Worlds Away because that's one of my favorite things about books. How they take me to other worlds. How they take me worlds away. So I love how books do that. So part of it, I guess, is leaving Earth, like leaving my world. Escapism. But I also just love doing it just for fun. Like, I'll do it whether or not something's going wrong in my life. But honestly, I feel like I just have so much fun reading. I have made so many friends in books. Like, I don't honestly know them, but I know so many characters so well. Also, like books, I have my comfort reads, books that I'll just reread over and over and over again. And if I read a good book with a happy ending, most of the books I read have happy endings. If I read a good book with a happy ending, and it just makes me warm and cozy and fluffy on the inside, then that kind of like sets me up in a good mood for the rest of the day, and I love that. So all those things combined are why I love reading. And then also I love reading because I've been doing it forever. It's like it's a part of me now. So my parents taught me how to read using the Bob books, which I don't really remember those that well. But I do have with me 3 of the books that were like my favorites, like before I was 8. different time periods and stuff. But Peter Pan, okay? Peter Pan, this is even the same version. This is the same book I had when I was little. Peter Pan was my favorite book when I was, I don't know, 3 to 6 or something, 3 to 5. I still enjoy Peter Pan. I don't read that book very often anymore, but like I still love Peter Pan movies, and I know the song Lost Boys by Ruth B by heart, but that was really, like, I loved Peter Pan. Like, I actually had a fictional crush on Peter Pan at the age of like 3 to 5, whatever. And then also that'd be like my go-to, like, Mom, will you tell me the story of Peter Pan again? But yeah, I really loved Peter Pan at that age. And then I don't know which book came next, so I'm just gonna show them both. But these two were also books that I loved, and I feel like these 3 books, these are the books that I remember loving the most, like before I was 8-year-old. So I feel like these books are the ones that most pushed me onto my reading journey. So the first one I'm gonna show is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. And I still love this book. I've read this book probably like 15 times, and it's never gotten old. I haven't really read it recently, but I do love this book. I love it so much. Hopefully I will continue to love it for the rest of my days. But yes, this book, I loved it when I was little, and I love it now. That Peter Pan is a book my parents would read to me. This is a book that I would read by myself, and I just read it again and again, and I absolutely loved it. I feel like this is the book that like really got me into fantasy, especially fairy tale retellings, because fairy tale retellings is now my favorite subgenre of fantasy. I read fairy tale retellings all the time. And then The Underneath by Kathy Appelt. I don't remember this book the greatest, but I do remember that for some reason I really liked that it made me cry. And honestly, this is just like a really cute book, and I loved it when I was that age. So I feel like those 3 books are the ones that most move me forward on my reading journey. My only question for my favorite booktubers would be, do you have any suggestions or any advice that you would give to me as I enter the booktube community and start a booktube channel of my own? Like, what advice would you give to me? Otherwise, just thank you. Thank you so much for just like putting yourself out there, showing the world how much you love books, inspiring me to also do that. Because I love that Booktube is so big. There are so many people on here, people with my same love for books, people with my same interests. Just thank you guys for all showing how much you love books and obsessing over books with me and everyone else. My biggest challenge for starting this channel is probably going to be just like figuring it out. I'm starting this channel. I've never had a YouTube channel before. Not really. Like, I posted 1 YouTube video before and 2 shorts, but that was, I never turned it into a channel. This is actually gonna be a channel. And then also just the size of Booktube, which I already said I love it, but it will probably make it harder for me to like be seen, for me to actually get views, which I'm doing this for me, so that doesn't really matter to me too much. But I do still want to be able to give people book recommendations. I still want people to see how much I love books. I started reading at a young age. I was born at a young age and I started reading at a young age. I don't know when I started reading, like 4 or 5? When I learned how to read, and I loved it because I was good at it and I got stickers. And then as I grew up, I just kept reading. I had my own library card when I was like 6 or 7, there was this library that had a reading program, and I would always be so proud because I would get my time done like before the summer ended. So I was always so proud of myself for how much I read, and I loved reading. I read in much larger quantities now than I used to, mostly because I'm older. I can read books faster, and I can get books myself. I can drive. I can go to the library whenever I want. But yeah, so I started reading when I was like 4 or 5, and I never really stopped. So where do I read? I generally read in my room, either on my bed or like the corner behind me. I used to have a bunch of pillows and stuff back here, but kind of turned into a dog bed because I wasn't using it during the school year, so I put it up. I was reading a lot during the school year, I just wasn't really laying on the floor. But those are the two main places I read. I do read elsewhere, like I like to read in the car, which I don't do as much anymore because as I've gotten older, like over the last 2 years, reading in the car has made me start to feel queasy. I still do it though. I'll just take breaks every once in a while. But yeah, so I'll read it anywhere really. So what kinds of books do I read? It's mostly fantasy. I do also read Christian fiction, historical fiction, and romance. But it's mostly fantasy. I really, really love fantasy. And then also, like, most fantasy that I read has some romance in it. But I have read some romances. I enjoy clean romances. And then Christian fiction, I really enjoy Christian fantasy. That's the main Christian fiction I read, Christian fantasy. And then with historical fiction, I mostly read around like World War II and the Holocaust. I feel like there's a lot more historical fiction based around that time, just because it was more recent. But I really enjoy reading historical fiction from around that time. Now I will show you what my book collection looks like. This is my book collection. So my bookshelf has a lot of various knickknacks on it. I have 3 shelves. They are getting pretty full. I'm not actually able to stick all my books side by side anymore, so I'll probably end up getting another shelf in the future. But I have a lot of books, and I love that. Thanks so much for watching and letting me join your community. Have a wonderful day.